So it's 2018 and I'm standing outside a door and I'm in big trouble. I'm standing outside the door of the head teacher of one of my subjects in my class and I'm in big trouble. So back then I'm in my first semester of university and I'm doing a subject called Foundations of Computing. And I'd been called in by the head teacher the day before to come see him because I was in trouble. And here's the thing, if you go to university, you know that the teachers barely know any of the students. Like, you're lucky if your teacher even recognizes you in class because teachers have to deal with hundreds of different students. But here I am outside the head teacher's office. The day before, I had gotten a personalized email saying, "Hey Penrose, please come see me in my office tomorrow, you're in trouble." So basically, I had been accused of cheating on my previous assignment, which was crazy. But here's the thing, they were 100% correct. I had cheated on my previous assignment. Basically, they had said the plagiarism detection system had detected that my code was very similar to someone else in the class. And I knew exactly what they were talking about because the week before, the day before the assignment was due, I was working with someone else in my class on the assignment. And we had very little time left. And basically, he had done some of the questions and I had done some of the other questions. And we had this genius idea. We were like, "Hey bro, why don't we just exchange the questions that each of us haven't done so both of us can have the assignment completed? And because we have barely any time left, we've got 1 day left, let's just share answers and we'll be able to complete the assignment in time." But you know, we weren't dumb. We knew that this class, this subject, had a detection system that detected whether your code was similar to other people in the class. Right? Otherwise, everyone would just share their code. So we weren't dumb. We were like, yeah, we got to be careful because we know they're going to be able to detect this. So we did some big brain, high IQ moves. Basically, like, if you've ever like tried anything with code, you know the approaches people take. So we're like, "Hey, bro, just change the names of the variables. So instead of having the variable humans, change it to Homo sapiens specimens." And like, "Oh, just move these lines around, bro. Just change these comments, move this chunk here, just like change things around to make it seem like they were different." But bro, we were the ones who were dumb because the detection system clearly detected that we had done this. And honestly, I was just hoping that they had made some kind of mistake and that they didn't actually detect that it was us that was similar. Because the night before I went into this head teacher's office, I was reading the consequences of plagiarism on the university website. And I thought, "Oh, bro, oh no, I'm going to have to redo this assignment or something. This is going to suck." But I was reading the consequences and they were worse than I thought. I could have failed the subject, which is my first semester. I don't want to fail a subject. I could have had to have paid a fine, or even worse, I could have been kicked out of the university. So here I am outside the head office. I'm stressing because I'm like, holy shit, I might be kicked out of the university. I might have to go, move to Nepal and, become a nomad venturing the mountains. I'm a criminal, bro. I'm going to have a criminal record. I was literally praying that the thing that would happen to me was to get a 0 on the assignment, because at least that would be better than getting kicked out of the university. So I was praying, like, please just give me a 0. I'll be happy with that. The week before I was collaborating just to get a couple extra percent, but now I'm hoping for 0. And so I walk into the head teacher's office and I sit down on the table, and in front of me are 2 pieces of paper. On one piece of paper is my code, and on the other piece of paper is my group mate's code, my friend's code, sorry. And looking at them both, it is pretty clear that they are very, very similar, that there are similarities between them, and that the program had detected the similarities. And basically all I had to do was sign my name at the bottom of the paper, basically confessing that they were similar and that I had cheated. And I was tempted to not sign it and say like, "Bro, no, this is not true, this is not," but I wasn't ready for a fight. And so I was like, okay, screw it, there's nothing I can do here, I'm here. I'll sign my name and then I'll begin my job at McDonald's, bro. I gotta drop out of university. I gotta go, find another job. This is it. This is my fate. And I sign my name. And basically they tell me, "Look, we know you cheated. We know you guys had similar assignments or whatever. And we're gonna let you guys off the hook. because this is your first semester. You know, you might not know the rules of the university. You might not know that this is not good. So we're going to let you off with a warning. Basically, don't do this again. And I breathe a massive sigh of relief. I had gotten away completely with doing basically the biggest crime in university. If you go to university, you know that plagiarism is the #1 crime. If you do it, you are screwed. And I had gotten away with this. And I'm walking outside of the head office, just so relieved. And I think to myself, okay, bro, I am never going to collaborate with anyone ever again. It is only going to destroy me if I collaborate with my teammates. So from now on, bro, I'm a lone wolf. I'm going to work on my own. So I've been thinking about this recently because I've been discussing this with people, with some of the people on my Discord. I've been seeing this narrative online. Should you be in competition with the students in your class, or should you be in collaboration? Should you guys be working together to get everyone the best grades possible? Or is it a competition? And the argument I hear is that actually school is a competition, because basically you know that whatever mark you get at the end depends on the mark that everyone else gets. So if everyone gets pretty high marks that semester, then your marks, it's going to be much more difficult to do well in your subject. Basically, they only give out a certain percentage of A's. So you could argue that everyone's in a competition because if other people do better, then you're going to do worse. And I definitely always had that mindset. But I want to tell you in this video why I think that actually collaboration is pretty much one of the best strategies to do well. And if you actually do want to beat your competition, it is actually one of the strategies to beat your competition by collaborating. It seems like a paradox, but I'm going to explain that to you in this video. Because I've been researching, like, what are some of the habits of the top students? Like, what are some things that the top students do? And you can go watch my video, top 5 traits of top students or whatever. But one of the traits that they have is that they collaborate with other students. They teach each other some of the concepts. They help each other. And I want to explain to you why some of the best grades I've ever gotten, some of the best experiences I've gotten was when I was collaborating with my teammates and with my classmates. And I'll tell you some of the stories that happened and how to actually approach this. So first of all, like I explained from the story earlier, the big lesson I can tell you is never cheat. You know, it's never worth it to cheat. The stress is not worth it, bro. And when you cheat, you don't actually learn anything. So a lot of the times, like, I will help some of my classmates very intensely so you can say they were cheating. So many of the times when I would help people very intensely, they would fail the subject. Because if you're getting so much help from someone that they're literally like doing your assignments for you, doing your exams for you, then you're not going to understand the subject deeply and you're going to fail. And also, you're not going to develop this learning skills and the study skills necessary to do well in other subjects. So that's just a side note, like, cheating is not good. I'm not talking about cheating here. I'm talking about collaboration. So here's a fact I want to give you that will maybe change your mind when it comes to like helping your fellow classmates. We remember, I don't know if the exact numbers are correct, but it's like the idea is there. We remember 10% of what we listen to, but we remember 90% of what we teach. So what this principle says is, actually, right, if you're teaching your classmate about some concepts that are going to be on the exam and you're helping him study for his exams, he's listening, so he's only going to learn 10% of what you're telling him. But you're teaching, so you're going to learn 90% of what you're teaching him. So in a weird way, if you teach someone and you help them with the subject, you're going to do better than them. So you might think like, oh, if I help these guys, I'm going to like raise the average of the class and I'm going to do worse in comparison. But when you teach other people, when you help other people, you do better. Your improvement to your grade is higher than their improvement to their grade. So teaching other people actually helps you more than it helps others. That's the crazy thing. So like what I used to do, I think one of the biggest times when I was in huge collaboration was the subject I did called From the Solar System to the Cosmos. Weird subject, but it's basically about space and shit, right? And I loved that kind of stuff. I loved like cosmology. I loved like, you know, learning about space and everything. So I was super into this subject. And I love helping people. I love teaching. It's like one of my favorite things to do. That's why I have this YouTube channel. And I was basically in the group chat, constantly helping everyone. I was like constantly answering questions to everyone. Basically, I got known as like the leader of the subject. There was like a group chat of like 100 people. I was just helping everyone just because I genuinely enjoyed it and I liked it. I went as far as to basically write a worked solution to the entire practice exam that they gave us. And yeah, everyone was like knowing me as the leader of the subject or whatever. And you know, you might think, oh, I'm such a good person, I'm helping everyone, you know, I'm such a, you know, I'm such a kind person. But when I was doing this, when I was helping other people, I was literally helping myself so much, because I was finding so many gaps in my knowledge. When I was teaching them, I was like solidifying the concepts into my brain. It's so actually like, and like a lot of the people in my class, the grade average for the exams was so low. So it was clear that people weren't really benefiting from my teaching. But I was benefiting a ton. I ended up doing really well in that subject, right? And this is not to flex or anything. I just want to tell you that like teaching has given me some of the best results in my entire career or whatever. And it's called the Feynman principle, where basically Richard Feynman says like the best way to learn something is to teach it. If you can teach something, then you know that you understand it. Because basically, when you're teaching, it forces you to make the connections in your brain. And basically it forces you to actually like express the concepts. Because it's one thing to kind of like look at the concepts and be like, yep, I understand that. But it's another thing to be able to actually take those concepts and like express them. It's like, you know how sometimes you look at something, like you look at a country and you're like, oh yeah, I know that country, that's Australia. But then you get asked, okay bro, draw Australia from memory. You're gonna struggle, because recall and recognition are completely different. So when you teach something, you realize that you don't actually know it as well as you thought. You find gaps in your knowledge, and actually a lot of learning does happen when you actually teach. And this is another thing that they've proven through tons of studies, that one of the best ways to learn, to study, is to test yourself. So testing yourself is a kind of a way of teaching, because you're kind of answering questions. You're basically teaching what you're learning to the paper or whatever. I don't know if that makes sense. Basically, there's a fine line though between helping them and doing the work for them. Basically, when you do the work for them, you could argue it helps you, but you mess them up, because you essentially like but it's not the best use of your time. It's a better use of your time to do your own assignment, or to like do your own questions rather than doing their assignments for them. So like the only times where I like did work for people, I'm not gonna lie, like I regret doing this, but like I would have a crush on some girl and she'd be like, hey Penrose, can you help me with my assignment? I'm struggling. And I'd be like, yes, I'll help you. And I was like, yeah, I'll help this girl, and then in the end she'll like me, she'll fall in love with me if I do help her with her assignment. First of all, this is a complete fantasy. This shit doesn't work. She's gonna go to some other guy. But doing the work for them never helps you. That's the point I'm trying to make. It never helps you, it never helps them. Because they're gonna fail, they're not gonna understand the subject. So, especially if you're trying to impress someone, don't do the work for them. What you can do is you can help them. Helping them will help you. So like answer their questions that they have, guide them, but don't do the work for them. By the way, bro, if you want me to help you very, very intensely, keep you accountable, help you build a study habit, help you study way more efficiently, beat your procrastination problem, actually start getting really, really good grades without having to study all day, check out the first link in the description. Let's see if I can work with you. See you later.